Control your mind or it will control you. Most people go through life believing that their biggest battles are outside of them. They think it's the competition. They think it's the environment. They think it's bad luck, bad timing, or lack of opportunity. But the real battlefield, it's inside your mind. Every single day, there is a voice in your head. A voice that never stops talking. Sometimes it motivates you, but most of the time it limits you. It tells you, you're not ready. You're not good enough. What if you fail? What if people laugh at you? And slowly, without even realizing it, you begin to believe it. You start playing small. You start avoiding risks. You start choosing comfort over growth. Not because you can't do more, but because your mind convinced you that you shouldn't. That is the trap. The truth is, your mind is the most powerful tool you have. But if you don't take control of it, it becomes your biggest enemy. Think about it. How many dreams have you delayed? How many opportunities have you ignored? How many times have you doubted yourself before even trying? That wasn't reality stopping you. That was your thinking. A lion doesn't think like that. A lion doesn't sit there questioning whether it's capable. It doesn't hesitate before taking action. It moves with certainty. It acts with confidence. It trusts its instincts. And that's exactly what you need to build, because confidence is not something you're born with. It's something you train. And it starts with awareness. You have to become aware of your thoughts. You have to catch that negative voice the moment it appears. When your mind says, I can't do this, you respond, I will find a way. When it says, I'm scared, you say, good, that means I'm growing. When it says, what if I fail? You answer, what if I succeed? This is not just motivation. This is mental reprogramming, because your brain is like a system that runs on repetition. Whatever you tell yourself again and again becomes your belief, and whatever you believe becomes your reality. If you keep feeding your mind fear, you will live a fearful life. If you keep feeding your mind doubt, you will hesitate in every decision. But if you feed your mind strength, courage, and confidence, you will start acting like it. This is why controlling your thoughts is everything. But let's be real, it's not easy. There will be days when your mind feels heavy, days when doubt feels stronger than belief, days when overthinking takes over. And in those moments, you have to be stronger than your excuses. You have to remind yourself, I am in control, not my fear, not my past, not my doubts, me. Because the moment you lose control of your mind, you lose control of your actions. And your actions shape your life. This is why discipline is so important. Not just physical discipline, but mental discipline. Discipline to focus. Discipline to ignore negativity. Discipline to keep going even when your mind tells you to stop. A strong mind doesn't come from comfort. It comes from challenge. It comes from doing hard things. It comes from pushing yourself beyond limits. It comes from facing what scares you again and again. Every time you resist negativity, you grow stronger. Every time you take action despite doubt, you build confidence. Every time you stay focused, you sharpen your mind. This is how you train your brain. This is how you become dangerous. Because once your mind is strong, nothing outside can break you. People can doubt you. Situations can challenge you. Life can throw obstacles at you. But if your mind is locked in, you keep moving forward. You stop reacting emotionally. You start thinking strategically. You stop fearing failure. You start chasing growth. And that's when everything changes, because success is not just about skills. It's about mindset. Two people can have the same opportunity. One hesitates. The other takes action. One overthinks. The other executes. One listens to fear. The other controls it. And that difference, it creates completely different lives. So if you truly want to win, start here. Train your thoughts, control your reactions, master your focus. Don't let your mind wander into negativity. Don't let it replay failures. Don't let it create excuses. Instead, program it for success. Speak power into yourself. Visualize your goals. Act like the person you want to become. Because your mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what you repeatedly tell it. And over time, it will believe you. Remember this. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your mindset. So build a mindset that cannot be shaken, a mindset that doesn't quit, a mindset that doesn't fear, a mindset that doesn't settle, a lion mindset. Because at the end of the day, winning every battle in life starts with winning the battle in your mind. Embrace pain, pressure, and failure. If you truly want to win every battle in life, you must first understand one thing. Growth is not comfortable. It never has been. It never will be. Yet most people spend their entire lives trying to avoid pain. They run from difficulty. They escape pressure. They fear failure. And in doing so, they stay exactly where they are. Average, because the truth is simple. Everything you want in life is on the other side of discomfort. Success, it requires sacrifice. Confidence, it requires facing fear. Strength, it requires struggle. There is no shortcut, but a lion understands this. A lion doesn't expect life to be easy. It doesn't sit and complain when things get hard. It adapts, it fights, it survives. Every hunt is a test. Sometimes it succeeds, sometimes it fails. But even in failure, the lion gains something valuable, experience. And that's what most people misunderstand about failure. They see it as the end, but it's not. Backhand index pointing right failure is feedback. It shows you what works and what doesn't. It teaches you where to improve. It sharpens your strategy. Without failure, there is no growth. Think about it. Every successful person you admire, they failed more times than you can imagine. They faced rejection. They made mistakes. They lost again and again, but they didn't stop. That's what made them different. Back, hand index pointing right, they embraced the process. And that's what you need to do. Stop seeing pain as something negative. Start seeing it as something necessary, because pain builds discipline. When you push yourself in tough moments, you develop resilience. When you keep going despite discomfort, you build mental strength, and that strength stays with you forever. Now let's talk about pressure. Pressure is something most people fear. It makes them nervous. It makes them anxious. It makes them doubt themselves, but pressure is not your enemy. Back, hand index pointing right pressure is your opportunity. It's the moment where everything is on the line. The moment where you are forced to rise or fall. And that's where greatness is born. Because anyone can perform when things are easy. But when the stakes are high, when everything feels intense, that's when your true mindset is revealed. Do you break or do you rise? A lion rises. Even in chaos, it stays focused. Even under stress, it remains calm. Because it has trained itself for those moments. And you must do the same. You must learn to stay composed when life gets hard. You must learn to think clearly when others panic. You must train yourself to perform under pressure. Because life will test you, again and again, and if you are not ready, you will crumble. But if you are prepared, you will dominate. Now let's go deeper. Pain, pressure, and failure are not separate. They are connected. Pain tests your endurance. Pressure tests your focus. Failure tests your mindset. Together they build you. Every time you go through something difficult, you are being shaped. Stronger, smarter, more resilient, but only if you choose to grow from it. Because here's the reality. You can go through pain and stay the same, or you can go through pain and come out stronger. The choice is yours. Most people choose comfort. They avoid challenges. They avoid risks. They avoid anything that makes them uncomfortable. And that's why they never reach their full potential. But you're different. You're here because you want more. And if you want more, you must be willing to face more. More struggle, more pressure, more failure. Not as punishment, but as preparation. Every challenge you face is preparing you for the next level. Every obstacle is making you stronger. Every setback is setting you up for a comeback. So stop complaining. Stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" Start asking, "What is this teaching me?" Because that question changes everything. It shifts your mindset from victim to warrior, and warriors don't run from pain, they use it. They turn it into fuel. Fuel to push harder, fuel to go further, fuel to become unstoppable. There will be moments when you feel like quitting. Moments when the pain feels too much. Moments when the pressure feels overwhelming. In those moments, remember who you are becoming. Remember your goals. Remember your purpose. Remember why you started, and keep going, even if it's one small step. Because progress is progress, and over time, those small steps become massive results. A lion doesn't win every battle instantly, but it never stops fighting, and that's the mindset you need. Fall but get back up. Fail but try again. Struggle but keep moving forward, because the only real failure is giving up. So embrace the pain. Embrace the pressure. Embrace the failures, because they are not holding you back. Become unstoppable, the Lion WA. Why, this is where everything changes. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now, because becoming unstoppable is not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about deciding that this moment is enough. Most people spend their lives waiting to feel ready, waiting for the right opportunity, waiting for confidence. But that moment never comes, and while they wait, life moves on. But a lion doesn't wait. It moves with purpose. It acts with certainty. It creates its own opportunity, and that's the mindset you must adopt. If you want to become unstoppable, you need to understand one thing. Consistency beats everything. Not motivation, not talent, not luck. Consistency, because motivation is temporary. Some days you'll feel strong. Other days you'll feel tired, distracted, and unmotivated. But discipline shows up anyway. It works when you don't feel like it. It pushes when you want to stop. It keeps going when things get hard. That's what builds power. A lion doesn't wake up and ask, "Do I feel motivated today?" No, it does what must be done. And that's exactly how you must live. Wake up with a purpose. Set your target. Execute your plan. No excuses. No distractions, just action, every single day. But becoming unstoppable is not just about action. It's also about identity. You must start seeing yourself differently, not as someone who tries, but as someone who does, not as someone who wants success, but as someone who creates success. Because your identity shapes your behavior. If you believe you are weak, you will act weak. If you believe you are strong, you will act strong. So choose your identity wisely. Tell yourself, "I am disciplined." Tell yourself, "I am focused." Tell yourself, "I am unstoppable." And then prove it through your actions. Because words mean nothing without execution. Now understand this. The path to becoming unstoppable is not easy. There will be setbacks. There will be failures. There will be moments when everything feels against you. But that's where most people stop, and that's why they never succeed. But you keep going. You don't quit when it's hard. You don't slow down when it hurts. You don't give up when you fail. You adapt. You grow. You rise. Again and again. Because being unstoppable doesn't mean you never fall. It means you never stay down. And over time, something powerful happens. You become stronger than your excuses, stronger than your fears, stronger than your past. You build a mindset that cannot be broken. A mindset that doesn't care about obstacles. A mindset that doesn't fear failure. A mindset that is locked in on success. That's the Lion way, focused, fearless, relentless. So from this moment forward, stop doubting yourself. Stop holding back. Stop playing small. Step into your power. Take control of your life and become the person you were meant to be. Because inside you, there is a lion waiting to rise. And once you unleash it, nothing will be able to stop you.